Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominique Davis, also known as Brown and Bendy, and here on this channel we practice flexibility of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Let's just get right into it. So this morning over on Instagram, my Instagram is BrownandBendy, and I'll link it in the description box if you want to follow me and say hi. This morning I made a post about rest and how it is important to find rest so that you may make the time to connect with yourself, connect with your higher self, set intention so that you can focus your energy on where you would like to move in the future when you are no longer in a state of rest. And there was a comment that a person left that implied that rest is a luxury. And if you left that comment, and if I misunderstood your comment, please let me know. Disclaimer, there is a part of me that completely understands the perspective that rest is a luxury. I am a stay-at-home mother of two that runs a YouTube business, as well as a social media consulting business, as well as a spiritual consulting business. So I understand the paradigm of we need to look under rocks and behind bushes for moments of rest. I completely get it. But I also believe in the law of attraction. So I know that if I hold a vibration of I am tired, I am sluggish, I don't have any energy, I'm going to see that reflected in my reality. If I have in my belief system that I'm never going to get any rest, subconsciously, when there are moments for me to rest, I'm going to watch Netflix and scroll on Instagram and scroll on YouTube and watch things on YouTube and scroll on Facebook. And I'm not saying that to make anyone feel guilty. I'm literally talking about myself. So all that to say, also, thank you so much, guys, for putting up with me smacking and saying so much. Unedited videos, you really see all the real me. But all this to say, when we live by the idea that rest is scarce, we will see that in our reality. And there is a very strong paradigm on the side of rest being scarce because I can only speak for America because I'm an American, but don't even get me started on the on slavery mindset. Don't get me started on the belief that there is no rest, there is no time to truly be at ease, a concept that's been passed down from Black people generation through generation. That's one aspect. And the other aspect is the idea that it's impossible to rest because of what's put in our media and what's injected into our media by the shadow side of the government or let me not even say the government, but the media and our culture as a whole. But at the end of the day, when your healthcare is not free and when your education's not free and when inflation's going up but salaries aren't going up, that sends a subconscious message that you have to dedicate your life to work. And then on top of that, our culture constantly 24/7 news cycle, constantly stuff about celebrities and all that. Like, we live in a culture where, fear of missing out, that whole mindset. Coming back to yourself, coming back to rest is kind of a decision you need to make for yourself. So I was thinking about all of this, and then I started to contemplate the separation between God's will, Source's will, and man's will. Because science has shown us, because I believe that science shows us what God tries to tell us, and we're too hard-headed, so then God's like, you need the proof here. That's what I believe about science. And science shows us that we need rest in order to operate at an optimal level. So, and everyone knows that. Everyone knows you need 5 to 8 hours of sleep in order to push away disease, in order to, make sure that your nervous system is operating at a decent rate. So if we know this, but we still avoid sleep, that creates a separation between God's will and man's will. And I thought about this for a little while. And I am a person who tries to, as much as I can, operate from a place of God's will is my will is God's will. Whenever I feel as though I'm acting out of character to what Source wants me to do, I check in. I check in with my intentions and I check in with my motivations, because I think that this entire sleep is a luxury conversation can push us into the conversation of, okay, so if we're going to just do our own thing, if we're going to ignore what's right for our body, if we're going to ignore what we know to be true for our happiness and for our health in order to live these earthly lives, ignore law of attraction, because if you believe that rest is a luxury, then you are choosing to perpetuate beliefs that say I have to work, I have to overwork, I have to overexert myself. And that doesn't align with believing that you create your own reality. So I ask you to look at other parts of your life where you know that there are opportunities for you to do things that are healthier, for you to do things that you know are good for you and that you know are right for you, but where you're saying, I'm not going to do that because my earthly 3D senses say that I have to do this. I can't do what Source tells me to do because I have to do this to survive. Going forward with this idea, I think that a lot of us tend to separate ourselves from what we know Source and what we know God wants for us, because deep down, personally, I believe it's a worthiness thing. An example is manifesting health. A lot of people are afraid to a lot of people with disabilities are afraid to fully commit themselves to believing that they can find healing. And I have a person in my life and I asked them, what do you believe God is capable of? And they said that, well, maybe God wants me to be sick so that I can teach others lessons. I'm not God, so I can't say whether that's true or not. And that could be true. I'm not God. But the vibration that I got from that was, I'm afraid to truly commit myself to believing in the power of what God has made possible. And then it made me think about, okay, so this person believes that it's God's will for them to be sick. And this person also believes that if they want to be healthy, they're being selfish. That separation of God's will and man's will. What I want to tell you today, I'm not going to even hold you. What I want to tell you today is God's will is your will. Your will is God's will. When you dedicate yourself to listening and aligning with the highest vibration, we talked about it yesterday, the highest vibration is love. When you align yourself with love for yourself, love for God, love for your neighbor, love for this planet, when you find love in everything that you say and do, you are aligning with the vibration of God. And I understand the idea that, well, what if my will is selfish? What if that's not what God wants for me? And the beautiful part about all of it is, if you just focus on aligning with Source, the parts of your psyche that encourage you to pursue things that are separate from God, separate from Source, separate from what's going to fulfill you and make you happy because of things that you went through in the past, because of your shadow, that part of your psyche will fall away. But it comes over time as you pursue and relearn through the journey of raising your vibration. And I think that when I learned this, it simplified everything for me, because then it all comes back to alignment. Are your thoughts, are your actions falling into alignment with what is raising your vibration, what is leading you to expansion? Because if it's not, that's not God's will for you. That's not Source's will for you. God's will for us is for us to always constantly expand. We are never supposed to stay stagnant. We are never supposed to stay confined and constricted, right? Because when we stay confined and constricted, even look at the human body. When the human body stops moving, when the human body stops looking for ways to grow, expand, stretch, whatever, it becomes very immobile. And then this disconnection between the brain and the body begins to develop, right? So all this to say, if there are things that you want in your life and you're holding off on fully committing to pursuing those things because you're just like, well, what if God doesn't want that for me? Focus on raising your vibration, and every part of your desire that does not align with what Source's will is for you will fall away, because those parts are not rooted in love. The parts of your desire that are not rooted in love will expose themselves, and you will have the opportunity to transcend while still pursuing the desire. Your desire will transform. Expect that as you walk on your journey, but do not be afraid of walking on the journey. Do not be afraid of committing to the journey. I think my daughter just woke up. So yes, that is all I have to say for today. I'm gonna go grab her cute little tushy. I love you guys so much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up so other people on the platform know that it is valuable. Also, if you'd like me to expand on anything that I've talked about, let me know down below. Last but not least, if you would like to become a reality bender yourself, please press subscribe and that notification bell so that you can be notified when I come out with new videos. I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.